Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm going to talk about the Sun card today. It is a card that I made months ago, but when I showed it to my family, they all said it looked like a certain TV program, which I will explain later. And I'd already thought of that, but that confirmed it to me and it put me off the card. But I thought I can't do this card. So I kept thinking, oh, I'll remake the Sun card. I'll remake the Sun card. But it's summer now. This is the ideal time. It's Leo season. The Sun card is associated with Leo. It's been such a hot year. And, the card has grown on me. So I've kept the same Sun card, which you'll see in a minute. And I am really happy with the Kate Bush song choice, which is probably the important thing. So I've got the Rider-Waite Pamela Colman-Smith's drawing here, and it shows a young child on the horse. There's this lack of inhibition, this acceptance of self and others, this living in the present moment, which I think we associate with childhood and being a young child. And I've been looking at a lot of my old notebooks recently, and especially at the notebooks that I made when we were on holiday and my children were quite young. And I realised it almost made me feel quite sad to look at the notebooks, because I realised how much of going on holiday, how much I enjoyed their experience of their, seeing the world through their eyes, them getting excited about something. And I think, now they're adults and stuff, that it's about me trying, at this point of my life, to try and claim that kind of childlike wonder that I have lost, back for myself, rather than, I think there's possibly there's a little bit of a downside anyway in expecting your children to provide that joy and wonder for you, isn't there? I've been to Disneyland Paris twice, and I remember both times, which is definitely, I say this is something I can relate to, because I'm sure it's something I've done myself. So that's why I found it quite amusing. But I would see parents walking around Disneyland Paris with children who were very tired, crying, probably overexcited and overwhelmed by the whole experience. And the parents going, well, we've paid all this money. Can't you just enjoy yourself? Why are you? And getting really, really angry. And so I think what I'm trying to say is there can be too much expectation as well, that we can, making a huge thing of Christmas because it's for the children, and then as a adult maybe feeling disappointed because the children don't seem grateful enough, or they don't seem to be enjoying it enough, or they're paying more attention to the box, that kind of cliche. So I think we need to take responsibility as adults, not to expect the children to do that work of enjoying the moment, that we need to take responsibility ourselves for how we see, and maybe changing our jaded view of the world. Let me show you the Osho card, because perhaps that'll explain better what I am fumbling to say now. So this, I love this. This is from the Osho Zen Tarot, and it shows an old man enjoying this praying mantis here, but we get a sense that he is living in the moment. He's recognizes that probably hasn't got much more time left on earth, and is determined to enjoy life. And he's got that childlike curiosity again. So he's regained all that kind of what we lose sometimes in our rush to grow up, in our taking on responsibilities. That idea that is, that is possible. This card is after the Moon card, and that it does seem very relevant to me, because the Moon is about shadows. It's about uncertainty. It is about it could even be about lunacy, about and certainly fear of lunacy, of fear of losing control, about going towards our unconscious and all that darkness. And if we're brave enough to acknowledge that part of ourselves, to face that, then I almost think of the sun as the reward. The sun does obviously, like all cards or all archetypes or energies or whatever, it has negatives. So the sun, and it's been so hot around here. I'm not really used to it, and it's felt unrelenting at times. And you just want a retreat, you want shade. And something, of course, because with climate change, we're very aware of that we can have too much of a good thing. And also, if we think about being in the spotlight, we can be overexposed. We can feel like we want to hide, or some shelter, some the shade, some protection almost from all that glare. Or we might be someone that is seeking the limelight and expects everyone else to revolve around them. So there could be some narcissism or egotism certainly in this card as well. So let's go to my Kate Bush song choice, which I think deals far more with the positive sides of this card. And it is from the album Ariel. I think it's an album I haven't talked about for a while, actually. It is so full of sunshine. I mean, even just seeing the cover and everything, but there's a lot of sun imagery in this album, which is interesting after the Red Shoes, which there was such a big gap after Red Shoes, and that sense that maybe Kate Bush had retreated. Well, she had a family and she was focusing on Bertie and stuff, but that she'd retreated from the limelight, maybe to, and this was a new surge of creativity that she was having. And so there's a lot of sunshine, and Kate Bush is a Leo herself in this album. Now, my song choice is from this album, because I think there could have been several, maybe, is Bertie. And I loved the line, "Here comes the sunshine," because it also made me think about, how people can be sunshine, people can be gloomy, people can be rain clouds, but also other people. And, people who have a sense of curiosity and acceptance, self-acceptance and acceptance of others, sort of non-judgment, how they can be like a ray of sunshine and make us feel positive. So I love that. If you haven't guessed it already, if you're British and of a certain age, you may see the resemblance with the Teletubbies sun, which is what my family said. And yeah, well, I've had to live with that really now, and it makes me laugh. I like it that it's a card that makes me smile as well. I will just finish with saying what Kate Bush says about this song herself, which again is taken from Kate Bush Encyclopedia, because I think it is a lovely summary of where she was coming from with this album and how she was feeling. So she says about Bertie, he's such a big part of my life. So, he's a very big part of my work. It's such a great thing being able to spend as much time with him as I can. And, he won't be young for very long. And already he's starting to grow up. And I wanted to make sure I didn't miss out on that I spent as much time with him as I could. So the idea was that he would come first and then the record would come next, which is also one reason why it's taken so long. It always takes me a long time anyway, but trying to fit that in around the edges that were left over from the time that I wanted to spend with him. It's a wonderful thing having such a lovely son. Really, with a song like that, you could never be special enough from my point of view. And I wanted to try and give it an arrangement that wasn't terribly obvious. So I went for the sort of early music. And it is beautiful, very distinctive, and stands out on its own, I think, as different from Kate Bush's other songs. So that is my take on the Sun card. And as always, be really interested to hear what you think too. And enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.